Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. Just talk about the weather, Joey. Just talk about the weather, Joey. No, I refuse. I'm going to talk about whatever the hell I want on my channel, folks, because you know what? It doesn't seem to matter what I say or do. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to do what I do. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about toxic masculinity and the politics of pretension. So some politicians and media personalities, they're using masculinity as a way to sell policies and ideologies, you know. So you look at Trump's tariff policy right now. There's a language of strength and toughness that's being used now by people who really aren't strong or tough themselves and have money to fall back on. They're not the ones who are going to suffer under the situation that's coming to all of us, okay? But we're gonna look at how toxic masculinity is manipulating public opinion, and it's being used to justify harmful policies. We're gonna look at the phenomenon, how it's related to the concept of false masculinity, and how it's being perpetuated by people like Jesse Waters on Fox News. Let's go. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on. Wow. I'll watch the video later. They try mopping this. The idea that policy is tied to masculinity is a false and damaging narrative. Hit like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the channel. Please feel free to leave a thank you there if you want to buy me a coffee or something, become a channel member as well. I don't like giving out my email, but if you're watching, Arnold, joeyonlyoutlaw@gmail.com. I don't want to write it anywhere on the screen because that's how I start getting hate mail. People who don't watch the videos can then just access me. And I don't like that very much. Nonetheless, I do need support, so you can feel free to send it there, folks. Okay. So, anyways, this is an implication they're putting out that men who oppose certain policies are weak and are effeminate, and only real men support aggressive and dominant policies. So this kind of thinking is a perfect example of toxic masculinity. It emphasizes aggression and dominance and suppressing your emotions. That's part of being masculine. That's all bullshit, okay? I'm going to tell you that right off. And you come to this channel, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you've seen me fight wildfires. You've seen me fight bears. You've seen me climb mountains. You've seen me go off into the wilderness where there's no trail. You see me encounter grizzly bears and wolves. And I'll be fucked if I'll have Jesse fucking Waters tell me what manlyhood is. You've seen that all in this channel. I'm not sitting here every day being like, it's Joey, the masculine mountain man up in the mountain. I don't need to fucking prove I'm a man. I'm perfectly fine with who I am. I'm comfortable with who I am. And you know what? Part of the manliness that I have is compassion, because I am strong. I have compassion for others. I have compassion for people who are different than me. I have compassion for children. I have compassion for I may go to the Pride Society event in Quesnel at the coffee shop there at the end of the month. I wish I had the details on hand, but it's on Facebook there. Because you know what? Going there doesn't challenge my masculinity. Supporting people in my community who are feel oppressed and scared doesn't challenge my masculinity. It doesn't make me less of a man if I hang out with drag queens or transgendered people. People like Hothead who watch this channel, who identify that way, who I've been friends with for over 20 years. It doesn't challenge who I am. And you know what? I still got a big ass fucking truck that's lifted and jacked. I still go climb mountains. I'll still fight fire. I'll still talk the way I talk and do what I do and say what I say because I'm comfortable with being me, okay? Nonetheless, in the context of politics, this toxic masculinity, it's being used to justify ideologies and harmful policies. So this idea that real men support aggressive military intervention or that patriots oppose trade agreements that can be used to manipulate public opinion. It justifies policies that harm marginalized communities, that harm people who are the weakest in our society. And what makes me strong is my willingness to pick people up to my level or better, to see them succeed where I can't. That's what makes me happy. That's what makes me feel confident and secure as a person I am. And you know, when I go, I give to my province, I give to anybody, to anything that has less than me that I can help, I will give to them. That's my that is the root of who I am ideologically. I care about people. I care about even the little bugs when I'm putting out forest fires and I'm stopping blades of grass from burning. I'm thinking about all the tiny little things that live in there. I'm like that. I'm a tree hugger. I care. I care about people, and it doesn't make me less of a fucking man to do it. Okay? So the whole idea of make America great again and the rhetoric of America first, it's all part of this toxic masculinity. Let's have a look at Jesse Waters' bullshit. So here we have this goddamn goof dweeb right here. Just a city fuck with nice hair there. Imagine someone who's got his own makeup artist sitting there calling you less of a man because you don't want to see your community suffer. You don't want to see people lose their jobs. You don't want to see unnecessary conflict with other countries, with other people who are the same as you. You know, we're all the same as people. It doesn't matter where you are, how you're born, what color you are, what you look like, what your sexual preference is. Doesn't matter if you have disabilities. It doesn't matter if you have Down syndrome. It doesn't matter if you have autism. You all deserve to have life because you are here on earth. And you can't control it whether you're born or not. It's not your fault that you were born. And it's not my fault that I was born. You know, I didn't choose it. Fuck, I wouldn't have chosen it. I mean, I like who I am. I would have chosen to be me. If I could have been somewhere else in the universe than Earth, my fuck, I'd be pleased to get away from the insanity that's humanity. That's right. I didn't ask to be born. So if I need some help to be a productive and contributing member of society, to give what I have to give, and maybe what I have to give is not what you think is productive, doesn't matter. I spent 12 hours yesterday working on videos. I spent 12 hours. Yeah, I spent 12 hours. But this guy, he couldn't change his own tire in his own vehicle. This guy, he believes that the crisis will reverse the trend, the crisis in masculinity. Is there a crisis in masculinity? If it is, you're looking right at it. You're looking right at it, that you're letting this guy tell you what being a man is, okay? I mean, look how far this guy is from being macho. These guys are such wieners. They'll say anything to cover it up. Just some weasels in a suit, I'm saying here, telling you what manliness is. It's pathetic. It's actually pathetic. But it doesn't stop here. Here's Jesse Waters yesterday saying that sitting behind a screen makes you a woman. Makes you a woman to sit behind a screen. And what's funny is... of course, he's got monitors and teleprompters. So I spent 12 hours yesterday working on my channel, trying to help the world, help myself by making content that will bring ad revenue and new viewers, but help the world, to help people learn about things, to help people understand what the storms were going to do yesterday. I spent a lot of hours yesterday making my channel, sitting behind a screen. I guess I'm less of a man to Jesse Waters because of that. Never mind the fact that he's probably got multiple screens in front of him. That guy spends all day behind a screen. Okay, he publicly embarrassed on live TV after he bizarrely claimed that men who sit behind screens all day are women, and was reminded quickly that his job requires him to do so. Yeah, he made the comment during the broadcast of The Five, this complete lunatic show with Greg Gutfield, Dana Perino, Jesse Waters, Janine Pyro, and rotating hosts Jessica Tarloff and Harold Ford Jr. discussing current events and pop culture and crap like that. He says, when you sit behind the screen all day, it makes you a woman. Studies have shown this. Fucking studies have shown this. Your dick falls off if you sit behind the screen all day. Is that what it is? If you're a weatherman and you're sitting there watching radar all day, careful. Your dick could fall off there. If you want to be a macho man like Jesse Waters there, big tough guy, Jesse Waters. I mean, can you believe this?
When you sit behind a screen all day, it makes you a woman. Studies have shown this. Studies have shown this. And if you're out working,
fucking
like
clown,
building robots like Harold, you are around other guys. You're not around HR ladies and lawyers.
What do you
that
do?
gives you estrogen.
What do you do?
Let me finish, Judge.
That's your role model for manlyhood?
Dana?
You know, you expect to be manly about stuff, and I don't feel the need to be that because I'm comfortable with who I am. I don't need you to be that too. If you're sitting behind a screen all day doing your work, perhaps you're a radar guy for Environment Canada, and I'm telling you, your dick's not going to fall off like Jesse Waters says just because you're sitting there working on the radar all day. You know, you're not going to be less of a man for showing empathy or compassion to other people. So. But people like Trump and Jesse Waters, they use this language and imagery that's designed to appeal to these traditional notions of masculinity. Never mind the fact that Jesse Waters couldn't change his own tire on his truck. They use words like strong and tough to describe themselves and their policies. to cover up the fact that basically it's heartless and careless and they're just money-obsessed assholes that, will do anything to get themselves ahead. They're opportunists. So it's a facade. Jesse Waters talking about manliness, that's a fucking joke. And the reality is these people are more concerned with projecting an image than actually being masculine. But hey, Jesse Waters, if you're watching out there, why don't you come on up? Come up to Wells, and if you want to spend time, we'll go for a hike into the mountains for 5 days. We'll do that, like I've done many times in the past. We'll go do that. And see how long you last in the bugs, in the heat, in the suffering, in the steep country, and getting cut by trees and branches, and the fear of the animals of the night. All stuff that I have no problem with, Jesse Waters. See if you can handle it. But hey, if you maybe don't have 5 days to spend, you can just come and fight me if you want. I guarantee you, with one hand, I will kick your ass because you're just a mouthpiece on Fox News. You're not a man's man. You're a joke. And you're spreading this toxic narrative that encourages a ridiculous view of the world and of our place in the world as men. It's not our world. We share this planet with creatures. We share this planet with human women besides other creatures. The world doesn't revolve around you. You're not the most important thing on planet Earth. I know you don't want to think that you're less important than the bugs or the birds and the bees, but you're not. You're not more important than them. You're just another creature who happened to be born on Earth, and you just happened to have been born a human fucking being, a white man, the most privileged fucking thing on planet Earth. You happen to be that, and you're afraid that anything might challenge that. And the fact that you're afraid proves that you're not masculine, because you got nothing to fear. If you're tough and if you're strong and if you're secure in yourself, you got nothing to fear. We got to have a more positive, inclusive idea of what it means to be a man. I think so. It's being a man, being masculine. It's not fixed or binary. It's not something you can just, this is what a man is. It never changes unless you smash it. It can smash because it's a fixed, hard thing, No, actually, you can't break my masculinity. And it's not something you can just describe or draw or point at and say it's this thing or that thing, right? It's not fixed or binary. It's a complex and it's multifaceted, this concept, and it can be expressed in many different ways. Who you are can be expressed in many different ways. The more you know who you are and can be that, the more healthy and secure and compassionate and in love with yourself you'll be, okay? So you got to challenge this traditional notion of masculinity. Have a more nuanced and inclusive understanding. So, some say we should have more masculine, positive role models. I suppose people who are emotional, empathetic, vulnerable, that challenges this toxic narrative. I think men need to be encouraged to be themselves without fear or judgment or rejection of who they actually are. Just like who I am is kind of your typical man's man when you look at me from the outside. And people might judge me that way and then find out that, no, I'm a very open and kind and reasonable person who would do anything for people, whether they have disabilities or whether they're children or whether they're women or whether they're transgendered or whether they are part of the Pride community in Quesnel, whether they're First Nations, whether they're in poverty, they're homeless, or they're drug addicts. I would do what I can do to help people. In fact, my channel, it's like I'm trying to help people here. I'm trying to help people with ideas, but also trying to help people with weather forecasts and to be ready and be prepared to maybe save lives. I'm trying my best to help. And I want to be that without judgment or fear of judgment or rejection. And I want to express my emotions and vulnerabilities, and I'm not weak or effeminate for doing that. So I'll just finish off by saying I think that this toxic bullshit that Jesse Waters promotes is a lie. It's harmful. It's damaging. It's being used to sell really bad ideas and really bad policies and things that harm people. And it's like, well, Jesse, he's got his job and his money, and he can fall back on that. And if people are losing their jobs because of tariffs, and if poor people are getting poor and more people are getting thrown in jails because they're having to do things out of desperation to feed their families, Jesse Waters, he ain't gonna have to experience any of that, right? But he's sitting there telling you what a man is while you suffer heartbroken trying to make ends meet for your family in a society that no longer makes that easy or reasonable for a man to do. You got to break free of this toxic thinking, create a more positive and inclusive understanding of masculinity in general, promote a more equitable society for everyone. So I hope to call out this false masculinity and the politics of pretension, and have a more authentic and honest dialogue about what it means to be a man, what it means to be a human, what it means to exist on Earth. I'm Joey, only the Caribou Weather Dude. I'm okay with who I am. I'm okay with who you are. Maybe you can't help who you are, right? But if you think that who you are is this person that can put others down or hurt others or shit on others for being different than you think you're better than other people, I'm going to say bullshit.